If you have wondered if coaching is a good fit for your business, but you're not sure where to start, who to look for, you're concerned about the investment, then I totally understand, because as one who's personally invested over $100,000 in coaching and consulting services for my business since 2008, then I have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. So with that, today, I want to give you 5 ways to help you discover which coach is the best fit to help you take your online business to the next level. Now, my name is Joyce Lehman, and I work with coaches and consultants to help them attract and connect with their ideal clients online using simple social systems so they can generate more leads and make a bigger impact without getting overwhelmed in the process. And I do that using my incubator framework. So if you have been a part of any lives before, you know that I try to cram as much content into a short amount of time as possible. So if you want the show notes, then drop the word coach in the comments, and I am happy to send those your way. If you spent any time on social media, all you have to do, doesn't matter if it's your desktop or if you pull up your phone, you're constantly being bombarded with ads. And these ads are everything from the next freebie to the next coaching program. And it can be a little overwhelming knowing where to start, what to do, if it's even the right time to invest in your business, because sometimes it's not. But also, comfort zones can get in the way of helping you say yes. And as one who has found that working with a coach, all great athletes have great coaches, then I know to get to my next level faster, then that's why I choose to invest with coaches to help me level up. So first step is you need to know where you're at in your business. You even need to know what you need support with. And one of the things that I have seen, and it's not just folks that have come to me for coaching, but it's other coaches that I've talked to, is individuals reach out and they're not at the right stage in their business, or they don't even know what they need help on. So if you are newer in business, one of the biggest pitfalls I see is you're told that you need a website, you need to get your business online, you need to start posting social media content. But unless you've done that foundational work, and that is, have you researched your target audience so you know what their pain points are? You've got a clear value statement. You know, you have enough that you could actually talk to a web developer to tell them what content they need to create and kind of guide them in that process. So those are some of the big things. It's like, you got to figure out what you need so you can go searching for the right coach. Another caveat with that, a client of mine happened to be an acupuncturist. She worked with a coach for a year. She spent $1,000 a month for a year with a guy who all he did was work with acupuncturists. He was an expert in that space. And she came to me as a friend after the fact. And she said, well, he'd send me a great list of questions to work on every month. And then we'd jump on the call and he'd answer those questions. And I said, I did a search. Where's your website? Where's your social media? Where's any of that? She said, we didn't do that. It's like, so don't work with somebody that's trying to get you more sales if you don't have those foundations set up. Now, as I said, I move pretty quickly through this. So if you want the show notes, drop the word coach in the comments. You can also send me a DM. I know some folks that they don't want to get their, they don't want to be out on video. So send me a DM on social and I am happy to send you the show notes your way. Okay. A few things is researching. So check the boxes on these, right? Do you know who your ideal client is? Have you established an online presence? Are you on social media? Do you even know what social media platforms you need to be spending time on? What are your offers? Do you have like a freebie or a foundational offer? Do you have a low ticket offer, a mid ticket offer? Do you know how one moves your ideal client to the next? If you're brand new, you probably haven't done anything with offers, even though you have an expertise. So it's knowing how to package and position them. So these are all things to ask yourself, because I get it. Everybody says, I want to generate revenue. I need to pay myself. That's great. Yes, you do. You just need to have these things in place first. Also, is it systems and processes? I've had folks say, I need accountability, because typically it's the implementation and accountability that keep you stuck, but you don't hire a productivity coach if you don't have the other things in place. So going back to, you have to know what it is that you need before you hire the right coach or invest, in one of those ads that pops up on social, or else you're going to be spending time and money in the wrong places. I know this because I have done it in the past. Okay. Now, the other thing that you need to do, or I should say step 2, is look for a coach who sells you actually what you need versus what they have to offer. And part of that is, you're going to find out in having conversations, and having been, having had a business since 2008, I've seen it all too often. So this is where finding somebody who really takes time to understand your business and where you're at. Here's a little spoiler alert. A lot of times what you think you need is not exactly what you do need, and a seasoned coach who has your best interest will help you see that. But all too often, great example, I've seen people tout themselves as a marketing coach or a social media expert, and then you go look at their website, or you go look at, the few number of followers that they have. And yes, sometimes it can be the shoemaker's child thing, where they're working with all their clients and not working on themselves first. But I always say, this is where, go look at their presence online. If they say, they're building 7-figure business owners, then they should easily be making 7 figures, which means they should have an online presence. They should have systems. They should have all the things that go with that. Because as you know, there's fake social media profiles out there. Well, there are people that are saying that they do something and they really don't. So that's why, look at the language that they're using. Is there consistency? If you happen to jump on their email list, what type of content are they sending you just to kind of nurture the relationship, or are they doing any of that? So do they engage with their audience? Are they like, I've got an Ask Me Anything right now for my email list that I sent out on Sunday that said, this is a week of free coaching. You can literally send me an email with any question that you have related to your business, and I will answer it for free. So that's why, like I said, look at what they're offering and what's out there to see if there's that potential fit with you. Now, the next thing is, a lot of times coaches have gone through a particular experience, and that's what brought them to where they are. In fact, you may be that very person. I have several wellness coaches that I've worked with that it was their own health struggles as to why they chose to get into this business. So sometimes you're going to see that's where their expertise lies in. Do they have credentials? Maybe, maybe not. If they've lived it, and if they've got that long-term experience of how, the process that they used, and you can see that they're systematized, then you can be rest assured they're going to help you. All too often, one of the things that I get is, well, you have to be International Coaching Federation certified. No, you don't. Not to actually be a good coach. Now, if you're going to be a leadership coach, you're going to work with individuals at a Fortune 500 company, and you're going to be investing $5,000 a month, that person better have a lot of credentials behind their name. But all too often, like I said, if you're new to the space, then you've got to build the testimonials. You've got to build some of that credibility, even though you have tons of experience. So there's a way to do it. And part of that goes back to how you're positioned. It's all a process. Number 3, ask questions. This is where I see folks that are hesitant to get on a call because they're afraid that somebody's going to give them the hard sales pitch. Been there, done that. I've gotten it. If you've gotten a hard sales pitch, then put "that's me" in the comments. I would love to see it. Nobody wants to have a hard sales pitch, but yet if you're going to invest, and that means a significant investment in your business, if it's like my Drive planning system, my $37 micro offer, that doesn't necessarily warrant a phone call. But if you want to do one-on-one coaching with me, absolutely, we need to get on the call with each other, because not every person is a fit for the coach, and you need to make sure that that coach fits your style. So here are some great questions to ask. And as I said, if you want the show notes, then drop the word coach in the comments to get the show notes. So a few things is, ask how long they've been coaching. Where did they get their experience from? This is where I will tell you credentials don't matter. I have worked with CEOs of companies. I have worked with executive MBA students. I've worked with a variety of leaders in industry as well as solopreneurs, which I am one. And not once has anybody ever said, what's your college education? And I have to see your certificate. They know by looking at what's online and testimonials. They've seen all that. So that's why I ask somebody. It's like, where did you get your experience? What have you gone through? If they have credentials, phenomenal, but also don't let them lead with just that, because anybody can go get a coaching certification. That doesn't mean that they've actually had the in the trenches experience. And it's that great combination. Another thing, ask what their areas of expertise are. It goes back to, it has to match with what you need in your business right now. You may think that productivity, I need somebody to help me be more productive. I need somebody, to help me line out goals. That's great. But what are those goals based on? And going back to, do you have the foundation set up in your business? Another one, do they offer a free consultation? They should offer a way to jump on the call to get more questions. Even my group program, when I'm doing my workshops, I always offer a way to jump on the call to see if it's a fit, because I've been through that experience and I don't want anybody to ever say I didn't have enough information. Besides the fact, I want to make sure they're a good fit for my program, because when it's in the group program, there's also a synergy of personalities. So that's really important as I'm growing that. And then, do they work with one-on-one with clients? Do they have group programs? So find out what their different offers are. If you have a small budget, they may have a program specific to that. Maybe it's something that you need solved in your business right now. That's where a VIP intensive, like getting that strategy session, something that's really specific, but you don't need to necessarily invest in 6-month, year-long coaching or more. So that's why you need to find out what all do they offer. If they only offer one-on-one, that's kind of a take it or leave it kind of thing. So just, you want to have flexibility in that. And then how are they going to communicate? So be really clear based on which offer, which program that you invest in. So clients with me, if it's one-on-one, we use Slack. And so that way they can have that access. I do have limits, and a lot of times coaches will have limits that, I don't answer Slack messages after 8 p.m. and I certainly don't do it on the weekends. But if somebody's got an emergency or that, that I need an answer right now, then I always try to be flexible. So it's finding out, is Slack, do they get email? Do they get phone access to you? What are the ways that they communicate? How do they onboard you in the process? These are some other things. It's like, so within a group program, is there a one-on-one portal? Are they emailing you everything? Do you get nothing but phone calls? I have seen some coaches do that. It's all you get is phone call. They don't give you any other support materials or resources. So find out. And then if it's a program, then is there a private group? Is there a community that goes with it? How often do they update any of their content? This is where sometimes it's kind of like that rinse and repeat. So you want to make sure, and then find out, depending on the level, are there payment options? What are the different investments for their levels? These are all great questions to ask. And another way too is if they do a free workshop, maybe they've got, like I've got a visibility boost challenge, a quick 4-day challenge coming up with some super simple things over 4 days that people can get an idea of what my style is like. Am I going to make an offer at the end? Of course I am. Anybody, you should always have a CTA. Even if it's a social media post, there should always be, what's that next step? But I give that to people because I want to give them a ton of value for free, but it also gives them a chance of what it's like to work with me, my personality, be in the group, how all that functions together. So those are just things to consider. And then here's a big one that I learned this lesson, and it was a hard lesson last year. Do they invest in their business? Like, do they continuously hire coaches to help them up level? In 2021, I invested $20,000 into a high-level coaching program, and it did not go as planned because what I was told I was going to get is not what was delivered on. You didn't get access to the founder. You got access to team members. They didn't give me access to the brand new portal with all the content for 5 months after paying. It turned into this nightmare experience. And I started questioning, and then I figured out it wasn't just me. This was happening to a number of people. Now, this was an 8-figure online coach. They had been extremely successful, and they thought their program was the end all be all. But it's one of those things that it didn't end up to be a great experience, you know, for a lot of us who had invested in that program. So I decided, even though I had a really bad experience, to take the leap with another coach. And it's like a night and day experience. Yes, it was even a more significant investment. But the difference is with my current coach, she invests, like she's going constantly to work with very niche specific experts. She brings all that information back to us. She literally is like, here it is, and this is how you can use it for your business. So even though she's highly respected, multiple 7-figure business, love her personality, love the community, it's the fact that she's willing to invest and then brings that back to us. So that's kind of going to go back to what's the coach you're looking at? What is their area of expertise? And are they somebody who's truly invested because they invest in their business and they know that it's about continuous education, that they're going to research, you know, what's happening now. If you've been on social media at all, you know, marketing changes literally weekly. Like yesterday, the crazy Instagram, you know, people got locked out of accounts. Facebook Messenger got locked out of accounts. As someone who marketing is a part of that, you know, you got to be aware. So just look at people who are willing to invest. The other thing is chemistry and gut feeling. So that's a big piece of it. You may find somebody that's got that expertise, that you've experienced a free workshop, that, you know, all the pieces are in place. And then you find out, you're like, is their personality a fit? It seems to be that way. And then sometimes you find yourself resisting, and it's that, yes, but what if? I don't know how to, you know, I'm scared to do this. So the caveat there, because of my experience, you know, in the whole conscious subconscious with the Pacific Institute for 15 years, is sometimes you hit comfort zones. And if you've never invested with anybody before, yes, it can be a scary thing to do that. And part of it is when you invest, that person is going to hold you accountable. If they know their stuff, that means they're going to hold you accountable. So sometimes when you find that resistance, chemistry, everything is great, but then you're resisting the urge because that's that mental stuff that you've got going on. One of my favorite sayings is new level, new devil. So if all the other boxes are checked, you're happy with everything else, the chemistry is great, and then you find yourself saying, yes, but, then I would challenge you to say, maybe that's your stuff that's getting in the way. So it's truly up to you if you're going to invest. I've also had folks come to me sometimes and the timing just isn't right. They needed to get a couple of things off their plate first. They had pretty extensive family things that were going on. And as I said, I've had some people come to me that personality wise, it just, you know, it wasn't going to mesh for the community. So this is about finding that coach. It is a win-win for both of you, because when you find that, it is amazing what you'll be able to accomplish in your business in a much shorter amount of time. So with that, I want to give you a recap on the 5 ways to discover which coach is the best coach to help you grow your business online. So the very first thing is determine what you need help with right now. This is where it's easy to get caught up in shiny object syndrome. There's so many opportunities. If you pick up your phone at all, you're going to be targeted with ads. It seems like we're being bombarded constantly, which leaves you a little perplexed as to what to do first. As one who's invested over $100,000 in coaching and programs since I started my business in 2008, I do know the good, bad, and the ugly. So this is where do a review of where you're at in your business, specifically what you need. Don't put the cart before the horse. One of the best examples, every single client that's ever come to me, somebody said they need to go build a website and they didn't get all the research and the background done. So then the website had to be redone. And by the way, several people had really crappy websites that were built because they worked with the wrong people, but the website wasn't what they needed. So that's why figure out what you need to be doing right now in your business to help you, start to narrow down who you need to be working with. Number two, you want to find a coach who sells you what you need versus what they have to offer. So if they do their due diligence, they go out and they look at your online presence, they really listen to your concerns and what your goals are. If it's not a fit for their program, then they should tell you that this isn't a fit for their program. Or maybe they have a lower level group program or even some sort of product or offer, then they should be guiding you and giving you some very clear actionable steps on what you need to do and then where they think you're at in your business right now. So that's part of it. I've seen this. In fact, I ran into a girl, I think it was like 6 months ago, that she started working with a law of attraction coach who promised her that she could build a 6-figure business within 30 days. The odds of that happening, I'm not going to say it hasn't happened, but the odds of that happening are slim to none. But that's kind of like, I'm going to sell you versus they went out and realized they have no offers. They have no online presence. They don't have anything in place. If you have all the things in place, you got much greater odds. So that's why number two is look for a coach that sells you what you need versus what they offer. And then number three, ask great questions. You need to find what's their experience. Why did they get into coaching? Why are they doing what they're doing? Is everything that they're offering, is it onboarding? What type of programs and packages? Is it only one-on-one? Is it group? How are they going to communicate with you through the process? What's the investment like? What's the length of the program? Communication process, email, Slack, private group. You need to get all these questions answered so you're better able to make a decision. And if somebody makes you feel pressured in any way, that is not the person that you want to work with because they are simply looking to fill numbers. I have experienced, unfortunately, I've been on calls with people like that. And then number four, do they invest in their business? Meaning, do they work with other coaches so they can continually improve and get better? Are they paying attention to what's happening in the market? Are they, it isn't necessarily a certification, but do they have the experience and are they putting in the time? And as I said, I had one horrible experience with, a coach that I invested $20,000 with. And yet I had a completely different experience with my current coach who she's constantly going and working with the best of the best. She brings all that information back to us so we can utilize it in our business. So it's constantly how are they up leveling what they do to help you up level your business, your health, your relationships, whatever it is you're looking to work on faster. And then 5, that chemistry and gut feeling. So you want to make sure that personalities jive. A coach should be looking at if they jive with you as well. It's not a one-way street. If they have a community, how is all that going to fit? But if the chemistry is spot on and you still find yourself hesitating, sometimes that's our own head trash gets in the way. And so that's saying new level, new devil. Every time you're going to a new level, there's going to be different comfort zones. There's going to be you're going to find resistance and it's going to show up in different ways. So if the timing's right, if you find the right coach that fits, if the investment is right, then that's when you need to go, okay, if all the boxes are there, then I'm going to say yes, because reaching the next level in your business faster can happen when you work with the right coach. So with that, what I am going to do is pop a link in here where I have a 1 action call. It is a 15-minute call. I'm not there to sell you anything because I don't know anything about you yet. So this is a call where we can jump on. I've got a few questions I sent out in advance, but part of it is finding one challenge that you're working with and being able to give you action steps. Because to me, the proof is in the pudding. And if we do that through a call, it may lead to continue working together. It may be one of my programs you invest in. You never know. And then again, you could be a great resource partner for me. What I'm about is creating great relationships. So with that, if you want to take advantage of the 1 action call, that would be great. And then if you have any questions, you can drop those in the comments. Also, if you want the show notes, then just comment with the word coach and I will send them your way. And for those of you who are a little tentative to get out on social, send me a DM with the word coach and I'm happy to get you the show notes. So until then, I hope you have a great week and I will see you next time. One of these days I'm going to be back, in my typical place versus up in my tree house. Have a great week.